he's still technically on the team.
He is on the team.
But in my mind, he's gone, but he's on the team. I just don't see a scenario to where he could come back. And I know it's about Trey, but what we really need to focus in on, and I want to hear from the fans, Alan, Sam Darnold is your backup quarterback. Yeah. We spent 2 hours of this show today, and I loved every minute of it, talking about it just feels like the number 2 quarterback, whoever that may be, then is closer to playing and being under center than any other team in the NFL than the Niners. And bam, that guy is Mr. I'm seeing ghost. And I feel like you're coming at me in a good way because you're like, Goo, why are you ignoring Sam Darnold and what he's not done? But I said, Alan, he's never been in the tuxedo that is this Niner offense, coached by Kyle calling the plays. So that's why I felt like Sam was in the lead, and now we know for sure they just called the shot. He is your backup quarterback.
Well, and that's the question if you're a Niner fan. How do you feel now? Because we're not at every practice. We had JD on the last segment. JD says Sam Darnold's looked really good. They've seen more of Sam Darnold than Brock Purdy because of the injuries and the days off and things like that. So now the question is not only how do you feel about Sam Darnold, is there a question here? Am I crazy to say that Brock Purdy better get off? If you look at
there's no doubt.
If you know where I'm going.
Yeah.
If you look at arm talent, and if you look at the fact that even though, and we got the sound of Kyle Shanahan just yesterday, saying we might play the hot hand, hot potato. Okay, Sam Darnold is our guy. How do you feel about that? And is it crazy to say, well, hold on a second. I mean, what I saw from Sam Darnold, and look, we know preseason games, you take them with a grain of salt. Is it crazy to think, okay, Sam Darnold with the ones, how much does Kyle like Sam Darnold now? That starts to become the question.
Well, there's a like there, and that's why he's here. And the fact that he came as quick as he came in the offseason, I do wonder, Alan, tell me if I'm missing the mark here. Do you think this is a relief for the rest of the guys on the team?
I think it's a relief for everybody, including Trey.
Wow.
Hashtag free Trey.
That's heavy.
Hashtag free
You're
Trey.
You're throwing Trey in there. Just let me go where I'm wanted.
Let me be free.
Okay, man.
Let me be free. And that is the tough part, Goo. This is what I've struggled with. And again, reacting to the Niners naming Sam Darnold their number 2 quarterback, exploring options with Trey Lance. And this is what I've struggled with, Goo. So let me get this straight. And you correct me when I get off kilter here. So you have Sam Darnold, right? And Sam Darnold, who has not had that much success in the league, that's putting it very nicely. Okay. And you have Sam Darnold, you bring Sam Darnold in, and everybody thinks that Sam Darnold will play better because there will be less of a load to carry and less things that he has to worry about because of this high-powered offense and the weapons. So there's that. But at the same time, if I talk about those same weapons and how that's probably helping Brock Purdy's success, I'm a hater. What's the difference? What's the difference? I mean, the bottom line is this will make guys' lives easier. The only difference is we've only seen Brock Purdy on this roster. We've seen Sam Darnold with other rosters and worse rosters. So then you could ask the question, we'll see what Brock does. And if Brock continues to play at this level, there's no questions asked.
He has the throne to the Niner offense, and he earned it. Because
he does.
When he had to go out on the field because 2 guys in front of him got hurt, Allen, he balled the F out.
He did.
So he has the throne.
He did. I agree with you. I'm just saying, looking now at Sam Darnold with those weapons, could one make the argument, well, Sam Darnold, who was highly touted coming out of USC, and he's had some rough goes, but Jets wasn't a great situation. Yeah. Panthers, that was a bit of a dumpster fire, and he actually did okay on the Panthers. It's Brock's world, but how close is it if you win, there are no questions. But if you start losing, what does that leash become for Brock? Because Sam Darnold clearly has been impressing some people.
Yeah, and he has a stronger arm. He came out of college with more promise. So I don't just forget that part of Sam Darnold and what he was or supposed to be coming out of USC. Yeah. And I know you're looking at me right now. You wouldn't get mad at me if I said, and I know it's factual, Sam Darnold can make it. The arm is, I don't want to say twice as strong as Brock Purdy's. He's bigger. He can throw any throw. So again, if he were to get a chance at the throne, I'm not past the thought of he might be able to take this thing to the next level.
I'm not saying that.
But it's
in
there.
theory.
Okay, in theory.
But we can't, I don't want to do the ceilings talk because they're about to ship out the dude that had the highest ceiling in Trey Lance. So,
well, we don't know where that ceiling. That ceiling wasn't showing on Saturday nights. You can make the argument.
You can make the argument that maybe Sam Darnold had a higher ceiling than Trey.
Yeah,
but it's close. We know Brock was not thought to be that, and that's why he was Mr. Irrelevant. But I think it's really interesting. And how do you feel? 888-957-9570. There's no more QB2 competition. Sam Darnold is number 2. And this is a team, we spoke about Dante Whitner early on with Up and Adams, saying that Kyle Shanahan's offense, Kyle Shanahan's system, is a team that needs a really good backup QB. Is Sam Darnold that guy for you? How are you feeling right now? Let's go to Ken in San Francisco talking about the Trey Lance news, the Niners exploring options. What's up, Ken? You're on Stiles and Guru.
Good afternoon, guys. Listen, I just wanted to say that I think this whole debacle is as a result of the inability of the so-called genius coach to be able to be flexible enough or articulate enough to use the attributes that Trey Lance has. What I want to say is, for example, I told you guys before, Trevor Lawrence was considered a bust after 16 games. Trey Lance has only played, 4 or 5? And I just wanted to say, when is the last time a Dinker and Dunker won the Super Bowl? I think the 49ers, and I'm married to a person that's a Dallas native, I think the 49ers have become the new Dallas. I think that you guys will get to the playoffs, lose in the first round, and I think that that's going to be the heights that you're going to seek. And I just want to say to the haters, Wiseman in Detroit, many games was 20-10. And I don't think that anybody wants to give him credit for that. Of course, you have to be more flexible as the athlete in basketball to work yourself into the system. But I just wanted to remind you that he's 20-10 playing a full game.
Let me ask you this real quick because I know we got a bunch of calls. Why do you feel like they're one and done when last year, without the help of Trey Lance, they were one game from the Super Bowl?
Because everybody's got an opportunity to see what Purdy can do. I don't think he has the arm strength to stretch the field. I think if you look at Trey Lance and what his attributes are, you're looking at somebody more along the lines of like Jim Kelly in the K-Gun or somebody like that. You could see that in the last preseason game when he threw the ball down, lasers down the field.
Thanks for the call, Ken. He said you guys, so I don't know if he was a Niner fan or not.
Well, he was married to one.
And Wiseman only had 10-20 game last season.
But real quick, Alan, and I had a strong arm growing up, but just because you can throw the ball hard does not equate to you being a good quarterback.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised at how many people call and think that's it. That's almost not it.
Yeah, we know Jamarcus Russell and throwing. John just reminded me. You don't got to be reminding me of that. But here's the thing, though.
Can you process and get it out?
Here's the thing about the Dinker and Dunker. Is it Dinker and Dunk by design or Dinker and Dunk because you don't have a strong arm?
Dink and Dunk by design. Thank you for bringing that up.
Because I don't know if it matters. Because Patrick Mahomes came out. He said last season, we didn't have Tyreek. They were taking away the long ball. So they themselves, we talked about it earlier this week. Brock Purdy had a higher yards per attempt than Patrick Mahomes last season.
And I don't look at Brock during his run as Dink and Dunk. That was by design, and he was throwing it.
Even if it is, but even if you want to put in that category, nobody matters if you win the big one.
Right.
But nobody matters if you win the big one. Right. You can't just do, just streaks and just chuck the ball down. You can't do that. So we're going to see, because it's Brock Purdy's world. We're all living in it. That's what we already knew. But now we know who's number 2.
Yeah, we do.
And this is what happens, Goo. Doesn't matter who you are. So we all know who's normally the most popular player on a football team, unless you're rolling.
Fans' best friend is the backup quarterback.
Exactly. So Brock Purdy, okay, you better keep it rolling, and you better win games. And I think they will, but there will be conversations, there will be rumblings, because you're going to think, well, I mean, if Sam had this opportunity with these weapons, and I don't even know if we'll get there, Goo. Brock Purdy could come out, be the Brock Purdy of old, be rolling, and Niners get number 6. But if they scuffle along the way, now it was almost better for Brock when it was almost the hot hand. And we'll get to that sound in a minute about, we're going to switch quarterbacks or whoever I'm feeling. But now that you have an established guy, you do have somebody. So I don't think that we're going to get there. So there's two conversations, right? One is what might be more disrespectful to Brock Purdy in that, well, Sam Darnold with weapons, who knows? That could be seen as disrespectful to Brock, and I get it. The second conversation is just the fact that this team seems to typically need their backup QB at some point. That's not disrespectful. That's the truth. So when he does get in there, how confident are you that Sam Darnold's going to be able to get it done? Because it seems like the Niners are confident.
And I'm right behind them. And the reason I'm confident is they did it with Mr. Irrelevant. They did it with a relatively unknown commodity and Brock Purdy, and the transition was seamless. So I'm just thinking of Sam Darnold on a damn good day, and he can do some stuff. And now,
but have you seen that? Have you actually seen that though in the Niners? I know he hasn't played with the ones.
No, I haven't.
But, okay,
I haven't.
I'm just
saying.
saying.
I've seen some throws in the preseason.
That one throw along the sideline, that was saucy.
But it wasn't a interview. It wasn't a tryout for me.
So you're saying he's going to come with different energy.
No doubt. This is going to be the easiest football he's ever played. It's supposed to. That this is Darnold if he gets the opportunity. But let's not act like coming out of USC, this dude was not projected to be the man with all the skill set, everything that you want. So again, everything you're talking about, the Rodney Dangerfield in regard to disrespect, Brock Purdy controls that. Because if he doesn't get hurt and he continues to ball out like he did last year, there's nothing to see here. But I do wonder if it's bad and they're off to a slow start and he's throwing picks and interception gate and practice was a real thing, how big is the leash now that it's not a guy from an unknown school like Trey Lance, is Sam Darnold?
Yeah, and I think you could even take some of the heat off Brock Purdy when you're discussing possible injury and go back to the O-line. This still goes back to the O-line and their ability to protect the quarterback. And how does that affect? Now you say, okay, how much does Kyle Shanahan trust, assuming Trey's gone, Brandon Allen? Because we saw them run through quarterbacks last season. Does it affect your play calling? Does it affect how you feel that you can operate this offense, and how much do you trust Sam Darnold? I mean, there's so many layers here as we break down the Niners, who are naming Sam Darnold the number 2 QB, and the team's exploring option with Trey Lance. Sources tell Tom Pelissero and Ian Rappaport. Let's go to Shanahan about the QB conversation just yesterday.
Kyle, do you plan on announcing a number 2 quarterback, or are you going to wait till right before the game? And is that something that could rotate week to week throughout the season? How do you see that?
Yes, all that. I mean, I would think probably announce it before we play Pittsburgh, but not this game.
Do you think you could rotate throughout the week?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
And that's why we had JD on, because they didn't want this to come out. There's no way they wanted this to come out.
Okay, are we sure? We're sure then, huh?
I mean, if he's trying to play it off as if, I'm stuck between Trey Lance and Sam Darnold.
It's what I said earlier. Is he playing with everybody?
And he got caught. And I don't know how this got out, but he got caught. Or does he not give a rat's behind? I think he does.
I told y'all this yesterday. You never know what I'm going to do.
With Trey Lance, and again, this is per Matt Mayoko, with Trey Lance has been at practice today, unless they did put it out on their own, but with Trey Lance has been at practice if this didn't come out today. Yes.
I would say yes, but Alan, what about this possibility? What if Trey was already in the know?
I think behind the scenes, he might have been.
Because when you look at Trey getting dressed after that game-winning drive, there was no reason to celebrate, but there was just about his being. I felt like there was he was somber.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, I don't know, it was just something. And now I'm thinking, Alan, maybe they've been truthful with him the whole way, and we're in here every day, yap, yap, yap. Oh, it's a competition. Maybe it's not decided. Maybe Trey knew.
He didn't look somber to me. He looked at peace. He looked like I needed to put something good on tape. And maybe at the beginning, look, because if you think about
it was shaky,
jitters and why it was shaky, it's not shaky because, is it really shaky because he's trying to be QB2? I don't know, possibly, but I think it's more likely that it could have been shaky because I know that they're probably trying to move me and I need to give good value so somebody come and get me. Help me.
Yeah, Jimbo on the YouTube feed, because this just keeps coming up. The volume is killing me. Purdy's arm is strong enough. And that's what I've seen thus far.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have no
Until
reason.
proven otherwise, I'll come in here with you and tell you, Alan, his arm, he can't make the throws. They got a problem.
I have no reason to think it's not strong enough until we have reason to think it's not strong enough.
Welcome to my world.
And we didn't see anything last season that says it's not strong enough. They didn't lose a game until he got injured and wasn't able to finish. So as long as it's where it was last season before the UCL surgery, there shouldn't be any question marks. Here. There's no. It's not a. What do they say, Goo? It's not an issue until it is.
Yeah, and it's not a competition to where a battle of the network stars. Let's see who can throw it the longest.
Right.
That is not what this is, people.
Exactly. And honestly, it's getting to the point now where when people see those with the Will Levis thing, it's actually a turnoff.
Right.
People think, I don't want to see that. What is between the ears? What can you do? 888-957-9570. We continue to react to the Trey Lance news, possibly. Not possibly, exploring options, possibly being traded. Sam Darnold is the Niners' number 2 quarterback. Let's head out to Tia in Texas. Wants to talk about the Niners. What's up, Tia? You're on Steiny and Goo.
Yeah, hi. Hi, you guys. Good afternoon.
Hey.
I was just calling because I get it, Brock is number 1, but are we really serious thinking about Sam Darnold as the number 2? Like, we worried about Trey Lance, who they don't know what he's going to be. But we know what Sam Darnold's going to be. He gets out there, and of course, he looks good in practice because he's not getting hit. The rushes and the blitzes are not coming towards him. So, of course, he's going to look good where he can just, have the pocket clean and he can throw the ball. But if Brock gets hurt, we really have faith in Sam Darnold?
It looks like it,
apparently.
Tia. Yeah, it looks like it.
Just trying to, I don't understand where the faith is coming from because I get it. Your team was bad with the Jets and the Panthers, but you still could have went out there and did what you were supposed to do as a quarterback. But he threw interceptions and he fumbled the ball.
He saw
That
ghosts.
has nothing to do with who's on the field. That's you as a quarterback. So the same type of criticism that Kyle has for Trey, who doesn't turn the ball over like Sam Darnold, but we're going to say, well, you know what? We don't have time for Trey, but we have time for Sam Darnold, who looks like hot garbage on Sundays. That don't make no sense. So they better hope that this plan works out because if it doesn't, Kyle needs to go.
Wow.
Thanks for the call, Tia. Shout out Texas.
Yeah.
Where all my exes live. I know you like that one. Last day, I got to get them in. Here's the thing, Goo. We don't know. So I'm with Tia until she says, well, Trey Lance isn't throwing interceptions. Technically, he's not because he just hasn't thrown the football, right? So you're not wrong, but you're also not right because he hasn't. So I'm looking here, Goo. Sam Darnold, and you can take this whatever you want because we know numbers never lie, but they don't always tell the whole truth. Sam Darnold, 56 games played. Okay, his record 21-35. All right, he's good for a 59.7 completion percentage. 210 yards per game, 61 touchdowns.
Was Kyle Shanahan the coach?
55 interceptions.
I just ripped that up. Was he here with the Niners and Kyle Shanahan, Debo, McCaffrey? Like, all that doesn't matter. You're living in the past. It's ugly.
So he's going to be completely different.
I believe so.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
No,
I'm asking a question.
I would bet that we are going to see the best Sam Darnold we've ever seen. And I guess I keep asking you, Mr. De La Salle, product of your environment, you don't equate that to sports?
No, I do.
Okay.
I do.
Because Tia's right if he were to get out there and mess it up and still be that guy.
But it's just funny to me that now we can do that with Sam Darnold, but when I bring up the product of Brock Purdy, I'm a hater. That's what's funny to me. Like, we're saying that Sam Darnold's going to be a completely different individual.
Okay.
So who would Brock Purdy be without this? I don't know what side to be on. That's my whole point of this. I don't know what side to be on. I'm struggling with Sam Darnold being a completely different person.
I got you. But see, I'm borrowing. And if you allow me, I'm borrowing from the fact that Mr. Irrelevant, a guy that nobody thought had the goods, Kyle showed the world he could get him to an NFC championship game. So I believe if Kyle can take he didn't have the promise, Allen, I believe he can revert our guy Darnold back to good Darnold, who basically has never surfaced in the NFL.
But that depends on what you believe Brock is a product of. That's what it goes back. That's what it goes back to. You're saying he turned Mr. Irrelevant into this.
He's a product of Kyle Shanahan. He's
Okay,
a disciple.
okay then.
Oh, there's no doubt.
Okay then. That's all I
believe if
wanted.
Brock went to Dallas or some of these, teams
all
that
I
don't have
wanted.
it would the Raiders. I don't think he would be what he was
That's
last year.
all I wanted.
Oh, no doubt. And it's kudos. It's me giving Kyle more flowers. You're like, I come down this road, but I give him that.
We spoke about this.
Yeah.
I give Brock flowers for being ready.
Yeah.
But if we're going to sit here and say Sam Darnold
no doubt.
is going to be
now
do a complete 180, then we can't dismiss that and say, well, we can discuss how good Brock is, but you also can't change. I'm gonna go back to it. I know you ripped it up.
Gotcha.
I found it. I pulled it out the shredder.
I don't know what I ripped up to.
21 and 35.
Okay.
21 and 35.
You want me to do
55 interceptions. No, give it back. Give it back.
And 30-some fumbles in the pocket.
And how many fumbles?
Yeah. But
all right?
Alan, this is Kyle doing Frank Sinatra again. He feels like he can be Dr. Dre to Darnold's Eminem or 50 or whoever you want to put in there, the rapper. He feels like I can make this dude become something he has not shown the world. I'm going to do it my way.